At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.
And we are back. Natives taking down the points of pretty much everyone in the league. Amazing gameplay. We have a lot to discuss within this one. Temporal, you okay?
I'm doing all right. Bit of intense narration. I'm so disappointed.
We have a deal. I'm so sorry you have to leave.
I voted against modern day AD hybrid Orianna and Rumble combo, and I know how that one ends.
You know what? I'll let you stay due to the fact that middle card just froze yet again. So
Where you going, buddy?
Puppets.
Oh, my words!
While
we need to hook him up with a
life and yada yada yada. Let's talk about what happened in this game. Like, you picked the Cassante versus the Rumble. You put yourself in that position, and the Rumble was just stellar. I don't want to talk about him specifically. You'll get why in a few seconds. But I want to talk about the whole game itself, like how natives pulled this one through temporal while middle card is frozen.
Yeah, there was sort of that excuse me, stalemate in bottom, and let's look at like not only the whole game but like the first 4 minutes. Like the flash was invested from the Volibear. We called in draft that both those junglers want to, like, you know, pinch heavy and pinch hard somewhere. That was mid, and they did get the first blood, and that got the Yone rolling. In the green room, middle cut was like, yeah, like Painful's been a bit up and down, had a bit of struggles to look confident, look powerful here, which was really good, and sort of comboed together with Theo's incredible Rumble, which did really well. And despite that, you know, Native's bot lane did hold on. They had a really rough 2v2. You know, they were going... Varus wants to chip someone down and then take the favorable fight. Just tried to force, which was a bit tough, guys. Not gonna lie. But Space, you know, managed to hold his orbit. It was stable. And kept going from there. And it was enough.
I mean, I'm just enjoying this moment as well. Like, we can all enjoy middle
He looks so happy, doesn't he?
Live. No, I was getting the information, like, if you want to put a picture, no, please, this is the picture.
It's a pretty good
This
picture.
is already the picture. And also, like, Volibear allowing the team to thrive as well, doing what he needed to do. We were talking about it on MVP votes when, hey, who should we vote? I mean, Volibear just did his job. He was doing the best job possible, and the teams came on top. We've been talking about natives on top, like, this is a top team. They're just not getting top scores.
Yeah, and I think that what's been really impressive to see is that... Archer, please don't be like this. I'm already in a stressful situation enough. Can you not see it in my eyes? But we've seen growth from natives over the course of the weeks. Stop laughing, guys, please. Like, this isn't
You're
funny,
laughing
okay?
as well. At least it seems like you are.
I'm a very serious man.
My bad.
And you're not taking me seriously.
We'll make this serious,
okay?
as much serious as we can. Continue. I'm so sorry. This was unprofessional. Please continue.
But natives, they've shown the growth, and I think it's so easy to talk about growth from teams as a fairly abstract concept. It's like, oh, we have X amount of time with the roster together and they will get Y amount better. And that's just not how it really works. But natives, they have improved. I think Hybrid as a player has really just...
Look at him go. That's Hybrid riding into battle once again, because he did not slow down. The Volibear, you know, RUD called it brilliantly. I was writing in my notes, like, the Volibear is completely off timer, and he's kind of making them up as he's going, and he's making the micro objectives out of, like, battering top lane around and getting his top laner into ridiculous positions, just like Middlecot's ridiculous position here. Releasing an all-good movie theater soon.
This is Rumble. He's just Rumble. Yeah. A different sort of man. I don't know if we have the interview ready or not quite yet. This middle call is... Do we have it? Okay, so let's toss it to the interview. The man of the hour, Rumble itself. What are you doing? Theolaris, talk to me, Theolaris. Talk to me about this one. I mean, you pick Rumble and they pick Sante. I mean, just run me through your thoughts as soon as you saw that. Like, are they disrespecting me?
First, I feel really great. I'm finally proud of one of my game. I mean, I think the matchup is fine, you know, because I get stomped by another Cassante on this matchup. But yeah, you know, I learn from my mistakes, and yeah, it goes great, I think.
Now, I don't know if you're watching the screen or not, but you are the MVP, by the way.
Nice.
As a top laner, you dealt 1,181 damage per minute. What do you mean? You know when people say he's cooking, you burned them.
I guess Rumble is OP, you know. When you get advantage, you have so much gold, so much damage, and after it's easy, you know. You just have to win team fight. GG, well played.
So we were talking about something in the desk. I don't know if you agree with me. Natives is a team that has everything to stay on the top of the standings, like top 4, but it's not there just because weird stuff happens. I think that's the reason behind it. Like, weird stuff happens. What do you believe is missing in order for you to get results just like you did versus Venom Crest, for instance?
I think we missed a bit of training. We start pretty late during the season, so we don't have screen too much. But like yet, we are again trying to find our playstyle, and I mean here we proved that we can play a good League of Legends, and we proved that we can throw a lot of game before. So I guess we need more consistency, and we can be one of the top team, I think.
Totally agree. If you could pick any team right now on the other 7 teams to fight next week and show everybody out again, Natives is Natives, who would you pick?
I guess it's Nord, you know. They are considered as top 1 in our league, and I think we can really beat them. And I want to prove that we can be one of the greatest team in the NLC. And
I love that confidence.
I hope we're gonna win and do 2-0 next week.
Oh, let's go. Let's see if that happens. Thank you so much, Theolonis, man. That was lovely. That was an amazing game. Congratulations on MVP as well, and wish you the best. Have a lovely one.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
Oh, he hasn't changed a bit.
Come on,
Not
man.
even once.
Natives is here. I think this is what we can say about this one. Just another thing to highlight in terms of the MVP. We didn't get it on the graphic, but I think everybody should know. Sometimes when you end up a game and you see a big advantage between teams, sometimes you get to like 5,000 gold lead, 6,000 between teams. This guy was 7,500 gold lead versus his top laner. Like, that is ridiculous. That is more than a lot of teams have versus the enemy team. This is not okay. Just like that photo.
Yeah, no, I was gonna open my mouth there, Artron.
You still have it on the photo though.
It's open.
Oh my lord. But yeah, again, great improvements coming out from Natives. And this is the time to do it, right? Like, if we're doing this, you're smiling, and I can see you're smiling, Archer, and I'm not appreciating it. But this is the time where you need to start making these improvements. You actually need to start picking up wins. The direction that Natives are going is obviously a positive one, but they've hit their stride kind of at the right time, given the way that they started the split. It makes me sort of quite optimistic for this team. We've been talking a lot about how competitive this league really is, and I'm kind of with Theo on this. If they can get a sort of 2-0 week next week, then they are right back in the thick of things.
Yeah.
I optimistically wrote in my notes this morning, and I didn't really believe it at the time. You know, Natives want to avoid the crush. If they can just be, you know, joint 5th, that's real close to playoffs, you know, compared to like
wave.
7th dead.
Yeah, ride the wave, ride the adult, you pick. I mean, I love the shoes, by the way. Next game is going to be DMG versus Ready to end up the day. I think this is... When I was doing prediction, I was confused. A little bit less than I am right now. But yeah, DMG versus Ready Sports. I have no idea what's going to happen. This could be it, because Bucci, for instance, is back, and he's such a pivotal part of the team. Even Namex as an AD carry versus Nat is going to be a tremendous battle. Mid lane as well. I'm interested in that one. But then junglers can decide can be the deciding factor in this game. Like, when you look into this tempo, what do you believe is the most important aspect between this match? I think this is the match of the day.
Oh, if it's not match of the day on our screen, it's match of the days in my heart. I think Nada versus Namex, as you called, is going to be huge. let's have a look at Bitse versus Kidarukin then, because I saw Kidarukin earlier in Twitch chat, and no pressure, buddy, but you tuned in to a Sejuani versus Maokai matchups, called everyone vegan, and left. Now, no pressure.
Out, by the way.
If you aren't pulling out Kindred, if you aren't pulling out, you know, some spicy mage, then I'm gonna be a bit disappointed.
Yeah, we'll flame you. So I actually brought this one specifically because of this. Look at the goal difference at 15 in terms of junglers. The way Kiturukan plays with the team and what he is able to provide. He's at 981, which makes him the first one in the league in terms of jungler. The second one is Bitse with 257.
Yeah, it's a quarter. It's nuts.
Experience as well, ridiculous. But then you look at what they bring into the team. Bitse, 80% first blood. So it's about the team. It's not about himself.
Yeah.
And then you can...
I think it's because we've got sort of two very fundamentally different players here. And different setups around them as well. We characterize DMG as a team with very, very strong lanes. And when you've got strong lanes, you want to be playing towards them. And that's what Bitse has been doing the majority of time. Yes, he's sort of willing to pull out the mages and such, but I think of this guy as a much more team-oriented player. For Kit Rukan, I think the team plays for him, and team needs to enable him. He plays stuff like the Talia, stuff like the Carthers. He is about doing damage. He is about farming up and becoming very, very strong later on. And one of the impressive things for me about Ruddy this split is how they've managed to retool around a new jungler who's got a different style. Natty Nat last split was much more of a skirmish-based sort of player, playing stuff like the Jax, playing stuff like the Xin Zhao, where you really want to be getting into the middle of fights. But Ruddy's jungler this split has been much more about farming up and just one-shotting people once the game goes post 15 minutes. And he does that absolutely exceptionally. For my money, Ruddy are the best team in the league at the moment. And there isn't really too much competition in my eyes. Yes, it's competitive. Yes, we're early on, so the game scores are sort of tied up. But I look at teams like Nord and I look at teams like Venom Crest. I see teams that are very likely to be dropping these games. Bar that matchup against Lightside that Ruddy were able to extend for far longer than it should have gone. They haven't really shown those same weaknesses.
There's another thing on that little one before we jump. Well, oh, he's back! Champion select is on, but remember, DMG has lost a few games, but they never lost first blood. And we've debated, we'll already be able to pull back from a game if they start from behind. I think this might be it. This might be the world where we get to see if they're able to do it. And by the way, if DMG wins, they'll be able to tie up with Ruddy. Scarlet is available, Corki as well, and instantly they are picked up, as well as Rel.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a fast one.
Okay. Ruddy, here to play. Fast draft. This one is in the Matrix. It is in the spreadsheet for Wolverine. The brand, absolutely monstrous in the jungle from level 4 onwards. Level 3, frankly. Impossible to deal with. Impossible to deal with. You can't turn around and play your own Karthus now. DMG, I think Gragas is so risky. Hopefully that's to deal with the Skarner. I'd be a bit stuck in my own jungle right now.
Wait, he talked about it.
He's bait. It's all bait, Archer. Complete bait.
But again, I think it comes back to the sort of Ruddy draft here, where they've gone for the Skarner B1, like notoriously good into the K'Sante, which I would still say is Bucci's best champion, and also has a fair matchup into the Gragas. You can kind of just AFK the laning phase to a certain extent and have incredible value in a lot of these skirmishes, and that's where Bill, I think, has really developed over the course of the split, because he has been able to be a more facilitating part of this Ruddy roster with Kit Rukan coming in. I'm liking this so far from Ruddy. It's got their sort of unique flair, their unique style to this, but DMG are no slouches at all.
I'm interested to see where DMG go for bot lane from this. We'll see. Like, that Corki every time has been a shoe-in for bot in my head, and then it's no, it's a mid laner. It's a mid laner, apparently. The bans down do suggest it might be the Corki holding on, but the Zed and maybe Tristana we'll see here as well. There's a few picks this could be. Go well going forwards with the brand. All brand needs is a little bit of setup, and then immediately you have to be walking away. You have to be dodging a seer. And the ults follow up. That's blast and bash at the same time in English. Blasts through everyone so far in DMG, and frankly, there's not a character in the game right now that can stand up to that combo.
Jinx is the last man coming in from Ready. Let's see if DMG are going to open up their puzzle. We still don't know where the Corki is going to be. The Gragas can go jungle, can go top. Even support if they want to fancy that one. Maybe looking for the... Okay, if they look for the bot lane, they'll expose the Corki, and that will allow Alex to just have fun with it. But this, another question mark.
Alright, so another AD flex, just as we saw with the Kaiser earlier on. Ready, difficult question here. The Ezreal, not a winning pick, but does allow you the evasion of everything DMG have put together so far.
Now we're talking. Middle, yes. You got the camera. Is the microphone lacking?
I'm just enjoying as we're going through, and like big smiles every time we see Alex on the Yone. He provides excitement. He pops off. Incredible lane phase, and the fact that he's just a sort of player that can blind this in mid lane. Obviously, there's that question about, okay, is the Corki going to be going into mid lane? But ostensibly, you don't know what you're going to be laning against. DMG have got the counter pick. He will go for the outplay. He will go for the aggressive maneuvers. This Zeri as well. I think it really fits into this idea of Ruddy as a team wanting to go forward a lot of the time. I think DMG have the opportunity to sort of engage onto them. And if Ruddy overstep, then they can get countered on very, very quickly with this composition. But they've still got a fair bit of mobility coming out from the carries of the Yone, of the Zeri.
Aphelios? Is it Aphelios? No. Corki is the AD carry. Okay, right. So the flex was held. And I think you're right. I think... Who on earth draws a Zed ban and still gets to lock in Yone? Like, absolute magic in draft. It's so backwards, it's crazy. Excited to see how that plays forwards. I think Skaterrod does have a bit more of a chance up against the Yone with the Talia lock-in coming in late. I'm still not sure how the 2v2 gets through though. That brand has to be so all in. LC still got such a nice mid-range to play with. The Talia, you know, doesn't always manage to get a hold of him. He doesn't have a dash to betray himself. It's a delicate 2v2 around mid, to say the least.
So at the end of the day, once we see this champion select, what are we expecting? And I want your first impressions of what could happen inside of the Rift.
Incredible amounts of violence.
Ruddy have set themselves up with the gas. Like the level that Jake spoke to yesterday was just like, yeah, our loss, you know, the light side, it's on us. Like, we aren't playing enough proactively. We aren't like taking it as seriously as we would like. So the disciplines come in. If you play this with the discipline and the gas, they have some massive tools, but there is that little bit of vulnerability in that they have chosen the full extension, and it will be on DMG to be really intense in certain moments. I want to see a nice Talia setup. I want to see the Zeri get through and the Corki actually have like a decent laning phase. We want the 2-3 items. It's not going to be guaranteed success. And from there, a delicate late game maybe. I think the brand's going to do it though. I think Ruddy are likely advantaged.
Yeah, when I look at DMG, I do see a lot of tools, a way to split up fights and to remove actually Ruddy from positions of power. I think that Gragas and Talia are incredible at that. And it ultimately is going to come down to execution, as every single League of Legends game that's ever been played does. I do favour Ruddy. There's a little bit of sort of nameplates going on here, but I think that DMG have put themselves in a reasonable enough position where if they get fed, I think it's fairly secure in the way that they play things out.
The Gragas is like a great chime on as well. That is the highest execution. That is high variance, high risk. If DMG nail it, great. Fantastic.
Well, it's a coin flip for them. They have the champion select. They have some tools. Will they be able to pull it through versus Ready, the team that is still in first place of the league on week 3, day 2. This is going to be the last match of the day, but it's the match of the day as well. So without further ado, let's toss it one more time. Initialize and redo it.
Rusky, mate, I think we might be in trouble. I think we might be in trouble. And that's because I think we're about to see unspeakable violence, and our job is speaking. So how are we going to mime League of Legends, especially when our cameras aren't going to be on screen?
No, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head. We're in the trend of trying to get fired, apparently, today. Game 3, we're using awful words to describe. I think if we just stop talking out and out when the fights happen, we're in. This is the last show between us two for the NLC.
Well, enough of that speaking business. The violence is about to begin. Let's head to the Rift, shall we? I have a horrible feeling I said unspeakable with an F rather than an S, and I'm going to pretend that was deliberate as a kind of funny
definitely
joke.
did that time.
Yeah, I know. I think I might have done, but I'm worried I might have done that in the intro, and that would have made it slightly less cool than I had it planned, and that would be disappointing to me.
Don't check the VOD. I think is my advice to you.
That's genius. Bury my head in the sand. Yeah, great idea. Hang on.
They know.
Hang on. Katurikan just goes down first blood. Over towards Namex's Corki.
Oh, level 1 scouting. So very valuable.
It's not done. Over the wall again. Alex is going to die as well. I think they give a second one over. They get one onto Skate Rot. Bucci takes a bit of a chunk, but that's huge. What a level 1.
All right, well.
It's not done.
And the recall as well. Okay, that's actually really valuable because now Alaric has to walk all the way back to bot side. I think they're both going to be able to meet in time for experience. It's actually not that big a deal that those recalls end up coming through. But 400 gold for your Corki, 300 for your Talia. That means that your tier is going to come online a lot sooner. And actually, Namex with full cull by apparently
that's
off
huge.
The back. So not quite sure which one they pulled out there, whether it was the Cull or the Doran's Blade to begin with, but in my eyes, solid opening for Namex right now.
I mean, we kind of raised a slight question mark about painful going for the late Cull last game, and in the end it was actually very valuable, don't get me wrong. He got use out of it, I'm sure, but this is a much better time to get the Corki towards those item breakpoints. The Cull getting out nice and early, and Ruddy giving themselves perhaps a little bit too much gas in the early game because they stall before they can really get off the starting line.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we've actually got the camera up on this top side as well, because we were talking in the green room a little bit before this game about how entertaining we think this top matchup could be, and the fact that Bucci has obviously been getting a lot of praise because he's been the star for DMG, but somebody who we're maybe thinking hasn't got as much praise and perhaps unnecessarily or perhaps should be getting that praise is Built, has been performing genuinely very well throughout this entire split, and off the back of a split last season where I felt, for me personally, just a little bit underwhelming as a top laner, but has come into this split, definitely first of all improved, and second of all, looks like he's holding his own in the very early laning phase for this time being.
Alex gonna step on forwards, try to stay this one out. He's gonna have the Q available, I think. Skate Rock takes a huge chunk. The flag and drag is short. Alex still waiting on another Q. Can Charlie get away? Flash on forwards. The Q goes wild for Katurikan, but Alaric is here. Flash for the Dreadsight. He's flashed in turn from Scout Rot. Everyone's flashing. Seismic shot. Flag and drag from a flash afterwards from Pizza, who is putting Alex into a bitsy coffin.
Well, we've already broken the rules initialized. We're speaking of the unspeakable violence that's happening. That was 3 flashes in the mid lane at 3 minutes into the game. DMG once again come out on top. Alex going to be able to collect the majority of this wave, so the experience differential not going to be as important in this instance. But a 3-0 so far for DMG. The hands check through and through, going their way.
And one of the things that happened in that one loss that Ruddy had was a consistent, concerted effort to attack Alex on repeat. The level 1 start, they're then coming in with all of the kills that went against him. Then you come in again towards mid lane, and you go again at the having just cleared 3 camps. That is a huge, huge potential way to get in the heads of this sometimes volatile mid laner.
Yeah, and certainly we'll hope to see some CS numbers start to reflect that, hopefully. Because Alex never not seemingly phased presently. And I remember my very first time experiencing Alex in the NLC. Veteran was alongside me, I think, on the desk or maybe on the show, and had a lot more experience with Alex as a player. Said that this is the type of guy to lock, in this instance he said Aurelia, but Yone fits the same vibe. Go 0-5, but still carry the game anyway. Currently, we're 0-2, but there's a CS lead there, and I don't think for a second that these 2 deaths are going to phase him at all.
Yeah, I think it'll be just that. And in fairness, it's like, as it stands, he's not going to be put too down in terms of the ability to play the lane quite yet. Bitzer is back on vision at least, which should give a little bit of credence to allow something like Kuturikan to go elsewhere. So looking for a lane gag, actually, that will cancel Bitse's back. Maybe they've mistimed this. They knew Bitse was there. He was on vision. I don't know about that one. I'm not going to lie to you.
A little bit of an underestimate, I think, on Namex's damage. The Hail of Blades plus Corki combo has been very, very scary so far. Yep, throughout the start of this split, and maybe just thinking that Kuturikan would have been there a little bit sooner. Maybe thinking that Bitse would have finished the base regardless, having seen that hook, but neither one of those two things end up coming to fruition, and that is a very, very regretful hook.
Like, I get that you've got Kuturikan coming up the lane. I get you're seeing Bitse recalling. I get you're trying to time it so Bitse goes, Kuturikan's there, but that's just too early. It's the honest answer, and now Snabby's going to come on over here, has Flash and Ignite, and Namex is just going to come on over, and RUD, what is going on? They're going to get on in here. There's a dragon still going down. I think we might be able to see some more of the people. But if they lose the dragon, Alaric's miss on the ultimate. Now Snabby going to try and get out of here, but I think he's just massive. Alex trying to get this happening. A Shattering Strike happens. I think Alex is going to have to come back. The Dredge Line will get RUD off the board, and I do not understand what is going on.
Neither. I don't understand it. I'm going to retell you. That was a rel auto attack to secure the dragon for DMG. So first streak of the game goes their way. Immediately followed by Bitse heading toward the Void Grubs. Now, whether or not Kuturikan reads that and is on his way to try and stop him or not remains to be seen. It looks for the time being that actually the Gromp is going to be the brand's goal for the time being. So it may very well prove to be a couple of Void Grubs going over to DMG, as well as that first dragon, and as well as the first 5 kills of this game.
That's pretty crazy. Now over towards the Grubs we go, 2 already way of DMG, and
look at the minimap though. Skate Rot already moved up, Snarby there as well. It should be 3-0 if anything else. Fight,
should be.
Top side.
And now Built is nearly dead, getting away though before Bitse can get in range to get an auto or anything down. Looks like Bucci went for a flash combo with the ultimate, couldn't quite secure the kill however.
So a little bit, I would say a little bit of sacrificing on the other side of the map, but it doesn't look like Alaric was really able to punish at all. Namex seems to be relatively okay, is down 10 CS, but if we look at the items, the BF sword, the double long is more than happy to keep fighting currently with this wave crashing into him as well. Should be able to tick up to level 6 as well, so yeah, not really anything to be found on the bot side for Ruddy either. DMG just controlling this early game.
And it's always a little bit alarming when your brand is on pace with the enemy Jarvan. Kuturikan being attacked at his own Krugs will flash over the wall, gets his ultimate bouncing off himself. Snabby now in danger, and that's a bit more like it as DMG for once overstep.
Yeah, and that's again very Ruddy-esque. Never to be deterred from taking a fight. Last split, one of the things that I credited with them, even when they had the really ropey start to the season, was if people overextended, they were taking fights. Gold leads be darned, they were going to take a fight versus you. And this is, you know, Summer Split proves to be no exception. See Snabby caught out in their jungle, managed to pick him off nice and easily.
Well, finally get a moment to breathe. 7 kills in just over 8 minutes is quite a high action game again. We've had a few of those today. But it does feel like a stabilized just a bit. DMG, after all the early leads, are going to be about 1,000 gold, and plus those neutral objectives, they are pretty handily in a good position here.
Well, yeah, and you know, these top laners, they're continuing to fight. At this stage, we're getting to the point now where fighting for a kill is going to become a lot more difficult. This isn't AP Gragas, this is Fimbulwinter snoozing Gragas, with probably the Sunfire Aegis coming through early on. See, Built getting the better of these trades to begin with, but you have to take into account that we have Grasp of the Undying plus Gragas passive.
Kuturikan was thinking about going towards those Raptors, but nearly face-checked the Talia. Might actually still have done that. Built also coming on over, though, so this will be a 2v2, but everyone else is on the map as well, and Bitse will get over the wall. Alaric goes on forward, signs the Dredge Line, but to not a huge amount of avail. The Aftershock allows him to tank up some damage, but Bitse is about to have a flag and drag available, and Alaric, having gone in, loses a lot of their HP bar.
Yeah, I think the theory there for Bitse is if he goes in... okay. If he goes in onto the Rel, onto the Nautilus in that position, it opens him up for Kuturikan to really dish out damage. Fortunately, you know, doesn't choose to go forward, and then the trade becomes just a little bit of chunk damage on to Alaric. Once again, though, A bit of a skirmish around the mid side of the map, and nothing really to come from it on either side. Love that jump forward from Namex as well. Recent buff to Corki that was given was the fact that his mana cost on the W was actually taken down quite significantly, and that was one of the things that really hurt him in the mid lane was, okay, you use your escape once, now you're out of mana, but you're able to do that a lot more liberally with the buffs that came through a couple patches ago, and able to, you know, try and trade Hail of Blades aggressively as well.
Good work there. And we actually wanted to do a little bit of hero building for Bucci and Bill in this matchup, and I was about to say it was supposed to be quite boring, and it kind of is, but Bucci seems to think there's a little bit more to be done here. Remember, there's no flashes available. Bill gets the ultimate off, but it doesn't matter because there's a burn from the Balmy Cinder. I bring it up and violence occurs. What do you know?
Well, maybe more violence to come here. Alex has fate sealed, has got this Q3.
He's holding on to it, Bitzer, trying to bait it out. It's a decent use of the Q. It doesn't matter, though, when the combo is brutal. Ruddy are falling apart.
Yeah, DMG have got the 2-for-1 special on things that don't get interrupted very easily. Gragas Body Slam and Jarvan Flag and Drag. In the hierarchy of skills that make you either CC or be CC'd, those two are at the top of the pecking order, and right there you got to see it in action. Alex times his Q3, honestly fairly well, but Bitzer able to cancel it, able to find the knock-up, instant Cataclysm, chain that in with a really hard-to-miss Seismic Shove plus Unraveled Earth combo, and that's just going to quite quickly take Alex down.
Well, I feel like Ruddy need to stabilize just a little bit here, because if they keep playing like this, I know they like to brawl. This could start to get from being a solid gold lead to being a manageable one as Bitzer come down towards the bot lane. Flash from Nata. Magnustorm comes on through. Death Charge comes down. They're going to try and play this one out. Alaric gets a watch up to the wall. The rockets come flying. Flash under the tower from Namex. He will likely die. They've gone so deep. Shield's not enough for Cleanse comes on out. Stabby desperately low, and now Alex is here. Fate sealed just short. Can still look for a last auto. Gets it. 2-for-1 for the side of Ruddy.
Yeah, scary times, though, for DMG.
Alex walks straight into Bitz, who's still got a flag and drag. The Spirit Cleave keeps him alive at the flash. Gets out of the Seismic Shove, but he had to do it by sliding across the minefield. Flag and drag is there. And the martial cadence allows him to get another kill.
Dangerous times, no more. They realise the error in their ways. Focusing Alaric when Nata can free hit you is going to result in dangerous times, but as soon as they recognise that, they turn their attentions back to the Zeri, who at this stage in the game, relatively weak, but was able to pump out damage under that turret. As soon as we got to see Skate nicely landing a couple of skill shots there, those pebbles really turning into something more.
Problem is afterwards, Alex just trying to play with fire. Knew the health bars were low, but Bitzer at this point on this Jarvan is at a real point in power, and oh, Alex, that was a bit too far, and then obviously afterwards, the Unraveled Earth doing the Lord's work for Skate He's now 3-0-3 on this Talia. Got a Collector in on the Corki as well. And I'm looking at the other side, the best the Ruddy can offer is a pair of boots for the Yone and the Zeri.
Again, this is behind a very murky grey cloud, but the silver lining for Ruddy is the fact that the kills get picked up. Nata managed to find one of them, I believe, down on that bot side, and with that recall as well, Skate didn't actually pick up any AP, picked up Lucidity Boots, picked up a Ruby Crystal as well. So, you know, the damage from the Talia is going to come through a little bit faster, but it's going to be in the same chunks that you've been beginning to expect, albeit with that Dark Seal stacking a little bit as well.
One of those stats I did want to bring up briefly before we got a little bit of chance. So I was going to ask you, what do you think Nata's damage percentage is for Ruddy?
42.
Nope. Absolute opposite. It's only 19.9%. He is the
Really?
lowest damage share AD carry in the league. What do you think the second lowest damage share AD carry in the league is?
Namex.
Oh, yes.
Context clues, baby.
Glad I could provide one or two. Built might be being deconstructed shortly as a cast comes flying on through. Built has got flash, he's got an ultimate to his name as well. Gets the impale, but it doesn't stop the cataclysm coming on through. A belly bop afterwards. And it's just wherever Bitzer goes, DMG are winning.
Yeah, that was actually really smart from Bitzer. Obviously locking the Skarner inside the Cataclysm so you can't pull Bucci under the turret, making that 1 versus 2 near impossible to come out on top of. Now Bitzer starting up this Herald. Not sure if they're going to be able to finish it or not, with nobody really defending mid lane. You'd like to think that Skate can make it happen.
Remember, Bucci's not got a lot left of his name. Soul and Bound is available. Beginning to stack those Qs. I think Bucci likely dies here, especially as the procs come on through. Kill now onto the Gragas. And gold into Alex's hands. Herald resets, Bitsit taken low as Katurukan unleashed a Pyroclasm on him.
Yeah, Skate Rot there. Pushing a wave in mid lane to deny it from nobody. Nobody was catching that wave anyway. I would have really liked to see them go in earlier.
Hang on. Ultra Shock Laser, damage coming on through. Now to try to play this one out as the teleports come down from Bill. Alaric low, Namek's nowhere really to go, and Corky about to have his wings clipped. Nowhere for the Yordle in the plane to go. Snabby mounts back up, but unfortunately, Knights don't have much place here. Bitzer though is here, low, but he's going to be getting a teleport on his standard. Oh my lord, DMG bring 2
double teleport.
Lane. Alaric finally goes down, Built goes over the wall, but there's another flag, and a dragon is Scorpion into the dirt. The mechanical Scorpion this time around, leaking oil and gold over to Bucci.
Smart from Built to not give any participation over to Scatter, but really solid collapse once again from DMG. A play that Ruddy initiated and to all intents and purposes looked like they were going to come out on top of. It was a great TP in from Built that we thought, yeah, wonderful. That's going to give you a couple of kills, they'll be unanswered. But Skate Rot, Bucci, TP onto the Demacian standard provided by Bitzer, who jumped in on maybe 600 HP but got the most insane amount of Sundered Sky value that we may see in this game so far. Keeps himself top, healed up, and buys enough time to allow his solo laners to bail him out after.
Okay, take a moment here. 2 dragons to DMG, the Grubs release trade, and Ruddy have now found a few moments to strike back. A couple kills on Nutter, a couple kills on Alex. It's good news for Ruddy in terms of stabilizing this game somewhat. The problem is, though, that it feels like Bitzer can do no wrong right now, and that double teleport on the standard is not something I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, short of, I think, my favourite thing to place that you can TP to is actually Thresh Lantern. You know, you don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Jarvan Flag, Shaco Boxes, Get Out of Here, and Gin Traps may be up there for me as well, but that, I don't think I've ever seen as much value from one of those teleports as we might have seen from DMG just then. With Drake spawning, though, in 40 seconds' time, we look at the gold leads across the map. It is red across the board. DMG out in front on this red side is Built now the subject of the focus.
Bit of a dangerous position. The Talia Weaver's wall comes on down. The cage finally over. Built can go through this wall if he gets another E available, but the cooldowns at this point just too long. Still 3 seconds. No chance to get on out, and Bitzer once again leads the charge and has a lot of backup available.
Yeah, Skyro actually very strong on this Talia. 4-0 and 4. Not had a bad game at all. Now 8 stacks on that Dark Seal. Working towards that Leon juice very soon. And now Bucci having a good time in the top side as well.
Alaric in danger, maybe forced to dredge line somewhere. The flag and drag comes on through, the seismic shove afterwards, and 4 members just there as Alex gonna be forced to pop back. Gets a fate sealed though, that buys a lot of time and gets him some healing. Katurukan now coming on up. The body bop goes wide, Q3 available, and Alex helps get that kill for Katurukan. Mid lane though falls in the meantime.
Yeah, Katurukan there, making sure that his mid laner comes out on top. Now might be in trouble. Face checking Skate Rot, who just throw a little bit early.
Wise Wood. Katurukan was wondering whether someone was in there, and he was indeed right.
Drake, though, going to be picked up by DMG, a prize for their efforts down in this bot lane. That takes them to Soul Point just 18 minutes into the game. Again, you have to say it, it's a Chemtech low roll. They would have loved to have found pretty much any other dragon here, but they are going to be able to find a soul and hopefully get that soul online fairly early. Snabby interrupted, but...
Yeah, I don't think they want to go any further, especially with Bitzer there. That 408 Jarvan at level 11 would be a little difficult to manage, I think, right now. Built will at least be able to get towards this tower. And again, for all we've seen a lot of flashy plays from DMG, their gold lead isn't really getting larger. Partly it's been stuck at this kind of 2k mark for a little while now, especially because some kills back, some gold back has come the way of Ruddy, who are actually ahead in the structures right now.
Yeah, and it's worth saying as well that with that structure game being on point, they've been able to, as you sort of highlighted, really mitigate the amount of advantages that DMG have gotten. We talked about the amount of gold that was there in their favour, but individually, the gold not necessarily as high as we might have anticipated from, like, player to player, let's say. You know, we look at the disparity in items, they're not necessarily that huge. 2 items for both AD carries, 2 items for both mid laners, and the Blighting Jewel, the only real disparity to find, whereas across the rest of the map, you know, gold pretty much even, and items are so. So, for Ruddy, don't be discouraged to try and take this fight. This 3k gold lead maybe just spread out well enough for you to not necessarily feel it.
Maybe, but all the while, you look at these grouped up fights and Temple pulled out on the desk, and I tend to agree the ability to split the fight's difficult. Escape Rot struggling here in this one, has to flash away. A last auto does it, but has to come straight back across the minefield. It's a 1-for-1. Bucci though, burning out. Katurikan trying to get that one on a killing spree now, and it's ending up being a 2-for-1. Mid and top both dead. Impale onto one, gonna get on top of Snappy, but that's not the most valuable person. Bitse gets a Cataclysm and brings down Alaric, but the slows are brutal. Nata goes onto a rampage himself. Gets Namex, will still stay alive. Bitse trying to flash on out to safety, and a flag and a drag will keep him alive.
Pings are toward the Baron for Ruddy, whether or not they can actually finish that off. Remains to be seen. I think we're built there. Yeah, I think this is just going to be Baron. 20 minutes and 50 seconds into the game. They're going to start it on up. Bitse very low, but sniffing around.
Remember though, they can just keep him out of the pit if they can challenge to make sure he can't get close enough with the flag and drag. Talir
oh my god,
not as low. Bucci is here, going on down. Baron to 2,000. Into the pit is Bucci. Gonna go and smite it. No, Katurikan secures. Bitse low. Still not had chance to go back to bait. Alex still goes down regardless. Bitse still alive. Finally! No! Still gone. Everyone from Ruddy is dead. They just cannot kill the Jarvan. Shield after shield. Heal after heal. And the Baron dies, yes. But there's no one left alive to use it.
Ruddy fall with it. The Baron power play already taken from your screens. It's embarrassing to look at for Ruddy. They lost all 5 members near instantly when that Baron fell. And you're quite right. This Jarvan and the one precision rune that we're glad got to stay in the game, Conqueror, just working. What is the effective superlative for overtime? Because that was how much value we had for Bitse in that fight. Sundered Sky healing coming through. Constant healing from the Conqueror as well. Was just a mammoth effort from not just him, but the rest of his team as well. That TP in and the follow-up of a Weaver's Wall, there was no care for Skyrot's own personal safety. Just wall straight through the Baron pit. Run it down effectively, but stayed alive and kept himself and his team within a very good shot at taking this game.
Okay, so 50 seconds and what looked like Ruddy's comeback moment. Double kill coming on through. Again, a double teleport back, and they couldn't quite win out the fight afterwards. Bits in a 5, 0, and 12. This Jarvan is such a monster. Alaric at level 9. Still pretty squishy, it has to be said. The Warmox is finally complete. I'd love to have that one in the last one. Nata can slide over a wall. Might be asked to do so.
Alright, important break point here. Initialize. We have 30 seconds before that soul spawns. Already have a choice to make. Found themselves a fight earlier on in the game. It's the one that led them to being able to take the Baron. Fortunately, they went and overextended. They tried to stick around a bit too long, and it was ended up also losing them the Baron. So we know Ruddy have got that fight in them. That was when they had those even item thresholds. Looking at top lane, there's an item advantage there. One in mid lane too.
Flash away from Built. They went for the engage. Can't quite make it stick onto anybody valuable. Alex gets onto Bucci. Dredge line afterwards. There's a Magnet Storm and the Weaver's Wall coming on down. Big Impale, but the seismic shove brings everyone forwards. Namex gets 2 as a result. Make it a 3rd. Bucci gets that kill, and DMG wipe Ruddy.
Soul +3 is DMG's prize. Remember, no Baron on the map, so no turret taking potential that is through the roof, but they've got a mid-wave that they're working with. That tier 2 certainly under threat by some members, and I love that they're splitting their resources as well. They've got 5 members on the map. Make the most of it. We've sent Namex down to the bot side, Bucci into the mid lane. If they can get 2 off of the back of this push, that's going to work wonders for them. The eternal power of a soul and the bonus boost that the gold will give them from these turrets is exactly the type of advantage you want to take after a fight like that.
Well, there go the tier 2s, and the structural advantage disappears. The gold lead continues to balloon. Soul secured. Baron spawning a little while. That Baron power play looks pretty pitiful in the top corner of your screen because there was none. Third item at least done for Nata, and if Alex can get to a third item, if you can get that Zhonya's done on Katurikan, maybe, just maybe, there's a world where you can get back into this, but it's still feeling a pretty tall ask at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, the important part about that fight as well that I really wanted to highlight, I was hoping we'd get a replay, but Scatterot's wall sectioned off Ruddy beautifully.
Yeah.
The two carries of Alex and Nata just couldn't get in. Alex would have had to have way too far overcommitted over the wall with, you know, all of his spells that he'd like to use in the fight as opposed to trying to get into it itself. Same to be said for Nata. Would have loved to have used the E for a reposition. Instead, would have had to use it to be a part of the fight in any capacity. So decides it's not worth it in the second instance. And really, the sectioning, like I say, from Scatterot was what made that fight. Obviously, some great skill shots in from him as well, with the seismic shove pulling a couple back, but made it so much easier when you know there's no pressure on from the carries.
Okay, well, there's the third item in for Alex. Infinity Edge is there. He has been a point, a serious threat onto people like Bucci and Skate Rotten. A 1v1 can certainly be dangerous, but how often has it been a 1v1? Bitzer has pretty consistently brought absolutely everybody over and had a kitchen sink in his bag ready to throw in as well, just for good measure. Oh boy, Alex went looking. Could still potentially look to chunk out Bucci at least a little bit, but not going to be the longest cooldown at this point, so gets a chunk and not much else, and Alex himself now in danger, needs to get over the wall, has got a Q3, will get over, but it's just buffered with a seismic shove afterwards, and Alex goes too far and dies for the temerity of looking for an engage on a Gragas.
It's unfortunately exceedingly obvious where you're going to go with that Q3 on the Yone. Well read by Scatterot all the same, but a really solid effort down on that bot side, punishing there. Now, another catch.
Another one, and there's the cask afterwards. Katurikan has nowhere to go, flashes forwards, gets a Pyroclasm bounce, but a little else.
Eyes on Nata.
And there's just nothing to be done. Nata gets knocked up. Bitzer lands another one. Namex comes Valkyrieing in. The aerial support is there. A triple to Scatterot. And DMG live up to their namesake. It is too much damage. A Ruddy. I think the Ruddy in their face is just blushing. They have been embarrassed a little bit as this game has gone on. The level 1, just too much to manage. And after that, moment after moment, play after play, DMG will tie up at the top of the standings with Venom Crest, with Ruddy.
Three-way tie at 4-2, and I want to take this time to highlight what has been a superb week 2 for Bitzer. In that game in particular, probably our MVP for just being everywhere on the map. Yesterday as well had a stellar performance alongside his top laner. We were really considering Bitzer for the most part for the first day of this week. But then Bucci had a mammoth performance as the game got later on the Renekton, and so he kind of had to forego the MVP that time round. But this time there's no doubt in our minds. I think Jarvan was the linchpin, the catalyst, and the executioner through that game.
And it kind of felt like whatever Ruddy tried to do, even if on paper it looked like a great play, like that bot lane play in particular, I want to bring our minds back to where they get the kills. It's looking fantastic. And then Bitzer turns up by himself. You're thinking, what? You 1v3? And then teleports happen on the standard. DMG were so ready to go at any given moment. They were so coordinated at fighting what Ruddy were willing to fight. And we heard Jake talk about it on an interview saying, like, look, we want a bit more gas, a bit more proactivity. We think we can do that. And DMG saw that and just said, well, so are we. Let's go. And they just won the fist fight.
Yeah, threw hands with them from level 1, as you say, right? Just reading the level 1, that we're going to try and catch the brand as they enter our jungle, do exactly that. Then they also, for somehow, catch Alex, who's just wandered around and pokes his head in one step too far forward. That's 2 kills instantly. Means that the bot lane's really tricky, mid lane's really tricky as well, and all of a sudden we get to a mid-game juncture where Ruddy usually are going to excel. They're the ones that look for these fights, pick people off just a little bit, and there's always that element in the back of my mind saying, okay, when are Ruddy just going to win? And then they found that fight around the top side. They find the game potentially turning play, but then they go to the Baron, which is one step too far. And again, it's those double teleports that we highlight. With Scatterot coming in, with Bucci coming in, reckless abandon, they dive into the pit to do what they can to keep Ruddy from getting it. And granted, they get the Baron, but they lose everybody for it. And again, just DMG were so willing to throw back that they deserved this win out and out.
Oh, for sure. And again, it's not like Ruddy didn't manage to throw a few punches of their own. It's just the knockout blows back were so hard to manage. But the standings have been shaken My predictions have been ruined, but fortunately to make it all better, the desk can break down that game and the rest of the day. Take it away, guys.
Break it down, break it down. Step on the gas, let's get out of town. We gonna break out and have some fun. We gonna do what we never done. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on, take your body with you. It's a money weekend. Everything we wanna, we go do. We go do. It's leisure, we go do.
Their name is DMG, but they might as well be called Damage, because that's a lot of damage on Ruddy. Starting from the beginning on the jungle, as in, I can take a peek at the jungle. No, you can't. DMG. I was not expecting this music as well.
You're expecting the shots fired.
Yeah, this was... I gotta say, this was the most exciting game, probably.
Yeah,
it was unexpected.
Are you okay, everybody? Are you guys
bro?
Okay?
I feel shell shocked. I feel lost for words. Like,
so we brought something up on the previous week. Ruddy are such a good team. It was yesterday. Ruddy is such a good team when they are ahead. Will they be able to do it when they are behind? And apparently, the challenge was released today. DMG is the team that is always able to get the first blood. They did it again. What happened afterwards?
Felt like Ruddy handed it to them. It was so brutal.
Kinda, yeah. Take it away.
Like,
see
we
if
were
you
like,
can keep it.
yeah, maybe they won't get the 100%. Ruddy just walked straight into the jungle. It's like not even close.
But I think it takes us to like a deeper issue, all right, or something deeper that we've had revealed here. It's like Ruddy are an excellent team at hands checking people, because generally they have better hands than their opponents. And I think we were sort of looking at DMG as this team was like, okay, great. We've got excellent solo lanes. We've got a really high-level AD carry in Namex. And we've got these supporting pieces here as well. If Ruddy try and play their game against DMG and DMG match them, they are a good enough team to take it over the line. And it seemed like every single time we got into a skirmish, even when it appeared that Ruddy had won the fight, like around that Baron, DMG come right back, and it wasn't just one punch, it was two. Quit the do like that, and Ruddy had no answer.
It was clean. It was like minutes 3 through 15. I have like a list of 10 plays. All of them are like Bucci solo kills built with his Bomby Cinder while impaled. The bot lane overcommits and they die, but Ruddy is massively overextended. So they also die because TPs in are called, and it was like DMG knew the places where Ruddy were fit to spike, where they would look for the play, where they're like, it's been calm water for like 10 seconds, so now Ruddy have to hit someone. Where is it going to be? Here, shall we hit them back? Sure, let's get there. Let's be on time. Let's be prepared. That was the biggest thing here. DMG felt like they expected this, and they knew what things.
That's the thing. I don't even believe it's like Ruddy missing the ball. It's like DMG being ready for it and saying, "We accept the challenge." Well, I accept the interview as well as obvious. Let's toss it to Ruddy, who's going to show up today. Built.
Hello.
Yes. Obviously. It's the worst time to get like a face reveal and all that. Belt, we need to talk about this game. The first blood. Explain to me.
Honestly, it was dreadful. I don't really have much to say.
Okay, but when we look into the top side, then we got the Gragas versus the Skarner. It looks like it's not the easiest matchup. It's not the easiest matchup.
It surely isn't, but I think that I was just not prepared well. I could have certainly done it, in my opinion.
Okay, Bilt, I'm scratching everything I have, and I want to talk to you, okay? Man to man, it seems like you're devastated with this loss.
Yeah,
like,
that Bushy fella is really getting on my nerves.
But don't you believe at the end of the day you might learn a lot from this? Because DMG were expecting from... We discussed on the desk the idea that Ruddy is a team that really likes to brawl. You guys really enjoy to brawl. Like, you like to skill check as much as possible. And I believe they set up a plan like, come at us. You just fell in the trap. But doesn't that mean that you get to learn a lot and adapt and just look at the rest of the split as in, hey, we can learn more from losing than winning?
True. So it's obviously there's obviously always like positive sides, but yeah, as Pep once said, that we just commit. But if they don't commit, then why should we? So I think that's one of the main problems that we have right now.
I really like that. So when you see that, how do you believe the team can move forward into getting even better? Because it's still first place built. I know you're like perfectionist. I've seen it in your face. I understand it, but it's still first place.
True. I think certainly we should improve our communication and understand better when should we fully commit when everyone is on the same page. So yeah, again, it's devastated. It's really dreadful.
So looking into the future, when you look into the teams that you'll have to face ahead, what is the team you're looking forward the most to face yet again? Do you think it's DMG Revenge, or is that another team that is in your eyes?
Right now, surely Revenge sounds way better.
Yeah, it's fresh, isn't it? It's fresh.
Yeah.
It's fresh. I can feel it. Built. It's a
Bucci.
massive pleasure to meet you. Oh, tell me. He's a mean guy, isn't he?
I am coming after him. I have beef with him. It's official
Built.
now.
Imagine, forget about the broadcast. Imagine you're looking at the camera and it's Bucci listening to you. If you could say anything for rematch day, I want to clip this and use it on match day. Built. Talk to Bucci.
I'm coming. You better be fucking ready.
I love this, Built. Thank you so much for the interview. It was a pleasure to meet you, man. You're still a king in my eyes. Keep going at them. Have a lovely one. Oh, I want that clip.
Damn.
Please give me the
Damn.
clip. Give me the
Cold.
clip.
Damn.
Give me
It's
the
cold.
clip.
Yeah.
I see a lot of many young top laners in build there. You expect perfection. You are your island. Your identity is your result. And you have to be so careful when you lead with that, because it is a strong mindset. You have to be careful not to turn it into a glass jaw. There will be times where you have to turn around, hold your hands up and say, I played Skarner and I played well. And unfortunately, Skarner doesn't earn pentatacles.
I don't know if you agree,
role.
both of you and me, but I'm a RUD fan. I'm a fan of RUD. I think we all are a fan of RUD because of what they built and what they were able to conquer. But we've never seen the players before. We got to see Built, and the first time we see him, you could see the blood in his eyes. Like, I'm disappointed in myself. I could be much better. Like, this thrive and this hunger, to me, I'm a bigger fan now.
I mean, it's what makes winners. I think the defining characteristic of any champion is an intense hatred of losing. And I think you could feel that emanating off him. But I think it's important for anyone who wants to compete at the highest level, which I think for a lot of the ready players, like, that can be a potential thing in their future. It's important to have these moments where you do get your teeth kicked in, where you do feel like shit, and you do absolutely just feel the worst, because you're going to spend the whole rest of your time, every single scrim, every single game, every single moment, you're going to spend that time trying to avoid that feeling again. And so whilst it hurts now and it sucks, I think this is an opportunity for Built and all the ready players to grow. It's not just about making miracles anymore. It's not just about doing the unexpected. There is a burden on them that comes with excellence, that comes with performing well.
Totally agree.
And it's theirs to shoulder.
I think
it's a first place after the first half, but no ruddy team, despite, the line where we don't see a lot of them. They all have a personality. You guys told me like a Natty Nat saga earlier, just off the top. This is memorable and it's powerful. And they've got it once again, and they're still after that elusive first place. They haven't got it yet. And to have the winner's mindset here is fantastic. The character arc, the growth from those teams that are intelligently built, they're a bit spicy, they're very unusual, and they're very personable to the Ruddy brand. You've now got to have that growth. We now have the extra step, but we're finding this instead of a week before playoffs where first is slipped or slipping from grasp at the halfway point. It is faster, it is growth, and I'm so excited.
You know what? When I was talking with him, I was like, this is a man who doesn't want to be king. This is a man that wants to walk like he doesn't care who the king is. I was like, This guy's on it. Now let's toss it to DMG. We gotta talk with the winners of this one as well. I think we have a surprise because that was a massive watch party as well. Devils, it's a pleasure to. Okay. Okay. Oh gosh, they have the trophies. Okay. No, don't let them move. Okay, don't let them move. We gotta do this with them in the background. Okay. Oh gosh. So DMG taking down RUD, but it's not like normal taking down. That was a beating. That was a bloodshed. Tell me about the how they were playing. I want to know because if you saw them play, you obviously heard them as well. How was the ambience?
I can do 2 flies in one shot because I can answer build for Booty, and I can say how we operate basically. And when it comes to build, who's built?
Gosh.
Right?
I love the starting line we're building. This is anime.
I'm sorry. No, but
do it, please.
We're looking forward to start seeing some fruits coming from the process that we've built, right? Or the structure that we built. Like when we started off with the split, like we made sure that we start with the staff before we start bringing in players, right? We want to have a proper structure for players to actually perform, have a great environment, right? So, I mean, today's match is a testament to what we've been trying to do, right? So...
Going from last place, previous split, to this, that's a statement of the organization and everything that is involved.
I mean, if I might have a bit of ego now, it's like... once the split was over, that's when I was promoted to COO, right? Are you seeing?
Hey, heads up. I gotta ask something. Where's Bitsa? Where's Bitsa?
Bitsa? Yeah. Where you go? Come here.
That is the guy. That's the MVP right there. That's the MVP.
That's the MVP.
Look at him.
Yeah, that's the MVP.
That's the MVP. Look at it's not even about the kill participation. It's about the hands and the ankles he broke. Like that man is a menace.
I mean, it's the boot camp off, no?
It's the boot camp. Okay. Hey, I like that. I like that. I mean, heads off to the team. I can't take this.
You recognize this guy, right? You know,
I saw that guy before.
He's a friend. He's a friend, right?
It's Tom Kick. Yeah, I know it's Tom Kick. The fact that Tom Kick is involved in this is even better. It's even better.
This bootcamp is majorly thanks to Tom Kick and Doctor. And I also want to, if we're on the shout-out train, I want to shout out the staff for the work they've been putting in. And I also want to shout out the players. Like, today's game was a testament to everything, no? So
yeah, that was a testament.
And it's a big win. It is against Ruddy, who was anticipated to be one of the biggest teams, no? And it's almost romantic, you know, because it's on my son's 3-month day. So
hey,
now
congratulations. Hey, you gotta promise me one thing. Obviously, this is just a victory, but we've been talking about the DMG and the things you guys are being able to achieve in such a short amount of time with this new roster. If you win the split, obviously it's far away, but if you win the split, I want another interview like that, but you have to be on the front line with the trophy.
I mean, if NLC gives me a trophy, I'll hold it.
I'll send you like a paperweight something. I don't care. I just want you.
I don't care if it's 2D, if it's 3D. I don't care if it's weightless. If it's 2 tons, I'll hold it.
Dude, I'll give it to you, even if I'm the one that has to give it. By the way, congratulations for the victory, and congratulations because you're the first individual that actually made Tom Kick stay in one place quiet without annoying everybody around.
Oh, don't worry. Ever since I become COO, he's been my dog. So. Hey,
thank you for the interview. Congratulations for this one. See you, man.
God.
Good times, man. I mean, they can take us down at EMEA Masters. We may even be at last place, but this is a fun league.
Yeah.
So much.
And in my opinion, I don't know, I'll let you talk, but in my opinion, as an ex-player and an ex-coach, okay, I did both professionally. I'm just going to say something. This is actually what esports is all about. Having fun, competing, and enjoying it. It's not always about like dressing fancy and all that. Like, this is esports. Having fun.
I couldn't agree more with you. It's the joy that comes with competition. It's everything involved with that. God, we're talking about this like we've just witnessed a final, right? This is week 3 of the regular split.
Gotcha.
We're not even all the way through the first round robin, but I think there is just there is so much passion, and I think for a long time in this region, there's been something missing, and I think it's coming back. We're seeing organisations that have come from nowhere, sort of at the top of the table. Your likes of your Venomcrest, your likes of your Ruddies. We've got organisations that have been around for a few years, like the DMGs and the Light Sides, that have sort of come up into our league. Maybe they've been bad for a little bit, but now they're sort of starting to show really what they're made of. Stable organisations, young players coming out of our region and performing exceptionally well. I think it is an absolutely fantastic time to be a fan of this region, to be a fan of any of these teams, because they are 100% going for it. And I think whoever you're supporting at the moment, you can be proud of what they're doing.
You may throw as much money as you want, but if you don't have the passion, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
It's the dedication. It's what DMG brought to their match tonight. It's the clean execution, the preparation, the knowing that even though you're up against first place and they're so good and they absolutely smashed yesterday in record time with record beating champions, like, you know, it's still enough to be your best on the day, show up and execute on the plan.
Let's bring up the standings.
Beautiful in gameplay.
We gotta see it. Yet again.
That's insane.
5 teams tied up first place. We started with a clear first, second, third, and now we have 5 teams looking at the first place. Verdant and Natives are tied in 6th, and Blue Whites are still waiting for the first victory.
But Theo did miss one equalizer. He missed someone's rift there and just hit the NLC league table at some point we didn't notice.
This was a good day. But what do we have for the next week? I mean, week 4 is about to show up as well. I want to know what's the menu, because if it's as good as today, oh boy, Natives will open up versus DMG, LLS versus Venomcrest. Then the bottom teams are fighting it off while RUD will take on NORD. Can you say spicy mamma mia? Holy shrooms of Timo. This is way too good. I'm excited.
We're spoiled with 5 competitors. You know, they have to play so many games against each other. LLS versus DMG, I'm looking at on day 2 there, 7 p.m. CEST. That's going to be a banger.
Oof. Oh, man. Oh, this is good. This is good. But it can all be good, can it? I'm apologizing for this, but we have to bring in predictions. As much as we want to laugh.
We've had so much fun and it hurts so much.
I just honestly don't care. Well done, Foxtrot. You got 3 right. Congratulations.
You know what? Yeah.
We were so confident and ready. It's just not to be.
It's not to be. I had my doubts, but oh boy, Rude Dude was seeing something. I don't know. That's why I put 3 points in each team. He doesn't even know what he's seeing. So when we see these predictions, how do we stand at the end of week 3? Because I know this was a mix. And Veteran went down. Guest, you're fired. Somehow I'm still alive.
Sorry.
Foxdrop was able to recover, but he's still in last place. Middlecott
he's caught you up. He's got you.
I sort of gained 6, lost 6, didn't I? So I've not really accomplished anything today.
Please, you gotta recover. Don't stay below Duckling. That's all I ask in the end of the day. But since we have no idea what we're doing, might as well you back at home show us how to do it by head on to Twitter and join the Fantasy League. So all you have to do is sign up, build your team, and if you're the best at the end of the split, look at what you can get from Steel Cities. Just take a look at it! You're gonna miss on these? Just to tell you, the mouse is wireless. It's amazing. Middlecott has climbed 3 leagues in League of Legends. So he's no longer an item, he's actually something. Now that headset, this is what we use on the broadcast because it's that good. And that keyboard, I kind of want it. I kind of want it.
It's beautiful. A friend of mine is ran Steel Series keyboards and mice since he got me into computing.
He has that one?
He's had them over the years. They still work. I believe he still uses it to this day. He's bashed me over the head with it at LAN, and it retained its shape beautifully.
You know what? If
I completely deserved it.
Steel Cities, if I make another song, can I get one of those? This is way too good. But yeah, you can win these, but just by playing Fantasy League. So let's wrap the day off. And Middlecott and Temporal, tell me your last words.
Well, that was alright, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was very alright. I'll love this more than you ever know. It's been a beautiful evening of NLC. It's been absolutely top notch. It's been an honor to join you both. And I've had so much fun. I can only hope to see everyone else in Twitch chat again soon. And I'll be there watching.
Nice. Middlecott.
Man, what a day. What a day. More like this, but maybe I get all my predictions right. It's just fantastic.
I agree.
This is why we do this.
This is exactly why we do this. This is exactly why you watch back at home, because the show without you has no fun whatsoever. So tune in next Tuesday at the same time. You know where we are, and we just hope you are there with us. It's about passion. It's not about money. That's why I'm all dressed, but I'm still wearing flippers. So with that in mind, I'll see you soon. Keep climbing.
At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.